Alright, hello. This is another video about this map, so if you haven't seen the first one, I'll provide a link in the video description about it so you can see that with all I have to say about the design of the AI. This one is more or less me showing you a better way to build so that you have a stronger army so that you can win it faster and easier. So with this approach, I think it's much more realistic regarding the amount of required save reloads and the probability of this actually happening. So overall, I think it's good, but it's kind of strange what you have to do. With this new build, I end up with 12 knights and 86 gold in the town hall. Now 86 gold in the town hall really isn't that much for a map where you have lots of gold available, right? But my objective was to speedrun this map. But in order to speedrun this map, as I've shown in the previous video and as you'll see in this one, it's really ideal to have strong mounted armored troops, such as knight. So with this build, it shows you one way, and I'm going to show another way, how to get many knights. And when I say I'm going to get 12 knights, I get them by 50 minutes. So that's 49, 59. I have 12 knights worth of resources and the recruits in the barracks. Because that's when I'm going to go attack, that's when I need them. After this build, I'll show a build which I got 15 knights and also 86 gold in the town hall. This is after I played this one, that I actually played it all the way through and beat it in 1 hour and 36 minutes and some change. But the difference between 12 and 15 isn't that much. The difference between 12 and 2, like I had 2 in the last game, and I have 12 in this one, it's a big difference with the win time and all that. Alright, so let's get started. Now of course, if you want to try to build farms, Don't Talk just told me that with farms, he has a script that intentionally removes corn that is harvested from the farms on occasion. It's based on randomness, and also the woodcutters too. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be trading. I'm going to be trading stone for corn. I build these swine farm pretty early, and I'm going to show the terrain wires just in case you want to at any time take a look at this build. And yeah, just paused it for a second. Yeah, but just take a look at this build and try to do it yourself. If you want to just follow it, it's easier to see the terrain wires so you know what tile is what, because this is a very unlevel terrain. But I have 2 swine farms, obviously, come up really early, and I am doing trading right now, just initial trade, sausage for corn. So that gives you 30 corn right off the bat. And I have my mill in this replay, and I think in my other one I'm going to show you too. He processes corn. I let him have corn for bread, but it may not be ideal if you want to try to get more than 15. You probably can't feed the mill, but it could get complicated with that. I'll have a building challenge at the end of the video where well, basically I could tell you now is to try, if you haven't already, and I'll just pause it, try to get at least 15 knight to match what I got, or more knight, but at least 86 gold in the town hall. So I'll let that be a building challenge for whoever wants to try it, who believes that they build well in this game and they want a challenge with this map, that you don't have much fertile land for farms or woodcutters. And now that I also mentioned it, that Don't Talk just told me he has a script that intentionally ruins some of the productivity that they have by default. At this point I have a woodcutters up there, not really much happening, so I'm just going to get it closer so you can see the other parts. But I'm going to build a market here in between these quarries because I'm going to be trading stone for corn there primarily. I do in this one as well, the original market that you're given, just to try to keep these swine farms fed. This is a very simple build. I'm almost completely finished. There's just a little bit left. I don't use this farmland at all. I figured that it just seemed like the farms, since you can't have that many farms, it was kind of pointless to even try to go for farms. So I just said, let me just trade stone for corn. And I'm going to also trade some bows for horses because I don't have any stables. That's why I'm going for wood up there. And there's my town hall getting ready to be filled up with gold. But I think that's really all there is to this build. So it's 5 stone per corn with these 2 mountains that's around these 4 quarries. If we look at the map in the map editor, if we just add 225 to 300, that's 525. 525 divided by 5 is 105. So that's not that much corn. But for 2 swine farms, if I want to produce, I don't know how many pigs I produce, but let's just say that since I have a tannery and I have what it looks like to be, I might have to add a 3rd one. I'm not going to in this replay, but let's say, should I have added a 3rd armory workshop? Then easy way to remember it is, if I want to get 12 knight, so that means I would trade leather armor for swords, shields, and iron armor. And I would trade bows, which I'm going to, for horses. I would need to have 18 divided by 7 times the number of knights that I want. So if I want 12 knights, I would need 31 skins. That's a simple calculation to help you know how many skins you need. So if you need 15 knight, let's say if you want 15 knight, you're going to need 38 skins. So think about it that way. It's 8 more skins. Yeah, it means 39 skins really, right? So 8 more skins for every 3 additional knight that you have. So again, 18 divided by 7, if we wanted to go for 18 knights, it would be, again, another 8 skins. And so the more skins you need, the more difficult this becomes. And so what I'm going to show you, this build, I'm not even feeding a stable. I'm trading for horses. At the beginning of the video, I traded some food for horses, like wine barrels and maybe fish. I know I'm going to trade for fish later if I didn't already, so if I missed it, that's what I did. And I kept the bread because bread is being produced, and if it's just one food in the end, that's the way to go. So that's what I kind of tried to aim for food in both of these builds that I'm going to show you. But yeah, I mean, of course, you're going to want to trade pigs for iron weapons and armor. And you're going to also want to trade the leather armor ideally for iron weapons and armor. If you just trade the skins with the benefit that you don't have to build the tannery and the armory workshops, then that's something you have to weigh in. But you get 50% more out of the skins if you just process them to leather armor. So therefore, a more realistic requirement for the number of skins that you need to produce to get the number of knights that you desire, but at the same time, a little bit unrealistic because these buildings have to be built at a certain time, have to be built pretty early. This is not 60-minute peacetime goal we're talking about 50 minutes. But again, the reason I got on this to begin with is that if we look at the top in the calculator here, if I'm going to get 12 knights, I need to have 31 skins. So for 31 skins, since I have 2 animal breeders, the maximum amount of corn that can go into a swine farm when it's first built, and it won't give you any pigs, is 12. Same with stables for horses. Because there can be 4 pigs in a swine farm and 4 horses in the stables. Each of them take 4 corn in order to make a pig or a horse respectively. So the worst case scenario is the animal breeder produced all 4 pigs or all 4 horses and fed them all equally, 3 corn each, so that you already fed it 12 corn and you've got nothing from it. So assuming the worst, let's say just 12 per swine farm to get it going, to get 1 pig from that. So I have 2 swine farms, that's going to require 24 corn to get the momentum going. Then for each pig that we need, so let's say we have, just say 30 pigs, we're going to need 144 corn. But I mentioned previously that when we look on this, that we're only going to get 105 corn from these 2 mountains here when we trade the stone for the corn. So I do have quarries working at other mountains, and as you'll see at the end of this replay, most of the stone stores are gone, and it can be undesirable because you can't really build anymore. But this was my first approach, and it did yield 12 knights when I traded bows for horses, and also a little bit of food for horses to get things going. Yeah, but it's just good to keep it small and just try to build these buildings, the armory workshops, as early as you can so that the maximum amount of leather, and I should say skins, are processed into leather armor to make your trading more valuable. I should have built this woodcutters a little bit over so that you can build a gold mine. I'm going to build a gold mine in the next build there, but not this one. But I put some, or I'm going to put some building fences up here shortly for this win, because in the previous win I regretted not having some of them come up here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have some of the AI come here like I did last time, but I'm going to have the first bit come here. And then that way I won't have to use this area at all to defend. So that means less barbarians. So therefore that means that I don't need as much gold in the town hall as what you would normally need should you want to defend here. You'll see that work out in this replay. So once we get to 50 minutes, I'm going to stop it and resume it later. I'm going to show the second build just to show it because we're looking at the builds right now. But right now it looks like it's still corn, trading for corn, but then the way I have this, the barracks is right next to the market. So if it was by either market, it would be okay. Just has to be by a market so that you can make late trades in a timely manner. But there we go, pigs for swords. And I already did some trading. So I'll provide the replay in the video description so you can see it in full detail. I don't want to get into too much detail with this one because this build was good. It's simple and it yields 12 knights. But if you have 15 knights, and with that one I don't trade stone for corn, so you will also have a lot of stone in reserve for later building. Right now it's still for corn. Okay, here we go. Yeah, the leather armor trades 3 for 1 for the swords, the shields, and the armor. But we'll trade 4 for 1 for the horses, and which bows will also. Therefore, I'm just going to trade those for the horses, which I'm going to be doing soon. In the top marketplace, where the stone is currently being traded for corn. But right now my pig farms are pretty full with corn. So there we go, there's the bows for the horses. And I have 14 recruits in here. I end up with, I think, a few leather armor and maybe 1 bow. So with this build, I'm going to be able to train some bows immediately. And I don't know if you saw it earlier, you may not have. I trained some barbarians early on because I want to feed them, because in the first win with this game, they were over here and they put down here. But now I'm going to have it so that when they do starve, which is going to be much later, they're going to be able to kill many more troops than last time. But when they do, then I'll have them come here, the remaining troops. But the point is that before peacetime, well before peacetime, so that they could actually get hungry, that I could feed them, so that they would be full at this time. I trained them early in the town hall. That's why you didn't see 86 gold in the town hall, exactly. Only just trained the 9 vagabonds. So I'm going to resume this replay after I show you the build for 15 knight. Okay, so this is the build for when I achieve 15 knight. I just use purple, different color. I'm going to show the terrain wires again so that you can see. With this one, I'm not going to be trading stone for corn. Instead, I'm going to be trading gold for corn, because each metallurgist is actually equivalent to if you have 2 farms. So with this area, with this map, you can build up to 5 metallurgists and have them running for a decent amount of time before the 50-minute mark. So that's 10 farms. And each metallurgist takes around 41 and some change seconds to run once, and it produces 2 gold. Each gold trades for 1 corn each. And the most efficient farms will, on average, yield a corn every 39 seconds, but average farms will yield a corn maybe every 45 seconds. When I say average, I mean like what the multiplayer standard is. And I know this version of the game is not the game that people play multiplayer with, but I'm just mentioning that. So in other words, I'm going to have metallurgists to feed 3 swine farms in a stable just until the end, for which I'm going to, with the extra corn that's built up, I'm going to then put into the town hall and just take the losses of corn in the swine farms in the stable at the end and just see what I come up with. I build a farm here. It helps a little bit, but really not that much, but it does help a little bit. So I built just that 1 farm, but that's it. So again, I'm going to be trading, and I'll keep the focus on the market the entire time. I'm going to be trading fish for stone too. Fish is really good. Either fish or sausage is going to trade for 2 stone with each trade. And you don't need fish anyway. You can go without starvation if you just have bread. So I'll be trading the wine barrels too. I'm going to be trading them for trunks. Because you don't have enough timber, you can't acquire the amount of timber that you need in the amount of time if you're going to go for these metallurgists. These metallurgists need to be built at least a minute before the corn requirement is needed for these buildings, because I need to be able to train the corn for gold, and it needs to get in there on time, you know what I mean? But I keep this woodcutters down here even though it's not very efficient because there's hardly any trees that he can plant. It does help to keep it there. I'm going to go for the gold that's here instead of the gold that's down here, because there's trees with this gold, but there's not trees with this gold. Of course, this gold is closer to the coal mines and the metallurgists that I'm building right now, so that's a little bit of a trade-off, but it's definitely more worth it to go for the wood because it's so rare in the map. But still keeping focus. Okay, now I switch from that to gold to corn. And you'll have to pay attention to the timings of when I built the swine farms and how I kept them running. At the end I do something a little bit different than you may have seen before. If you've seen my video, the Shadow Kingdom Mission 14, where I have 53 bowmen and 53 pikemen in the first hour at 60 minutes peacetime in R6720, I do something similar here that I did there. I basically will shut down one of the swine farms early that doesn't really have any pigs in it before a certain amount of time before peacetime, because he won't be producing any pigs anyway. Why feed him when your corn is limited? I'll be doing something else pretty neat too that maybe I'll get, hopefully I will get, I should say, that you can see. But I already have 2 metallurgists up that have been running for several minutes, and I'm going to be building 2 more and then a 5th one towards the end. I'm going to assume that one of these farms is going to be contributing to the swine farms in the stable, because with the farm inefficiency, not only based on the farms relative to each other and the number of fields that each of them have, one has too little, the other 2 have too many. But again, what I mentioned is that Don't Talk intentionally has a script that will ruin the productivity of the farms and the woodcutters. I'm going to assume that it takes 2 of these farms to power this windmill. And it does, really. At least at farm and a half. So this farm, one of these farms is going to contribute just a little bit to them. But let's just assume for a minute that I don't have anything contributing to these animal breeders except for the metallurgist. Okay, we can do a little bit of calculations here. This is the way it goes in this game. For a stable runs every 24 seconds. And let's say that the average farm takes 45 seconds to run. So 45 divided by 24. I have 1 stable, so it's just 1 times that, or just itself. And then I have 3 stables, so I have 3 times. And then I have, let's say the average farm is 45, divided by 31 seconds it takes a swine farm to run. When we add that all together, we need 6.22 averaged farms in order to run these buildings. So we need 7 farms, really. You have to always round up. If you want to assume that this little bit here from one of these farms is the 0.22, that's fair enough. We can say, we just say, okay, we need 6 farms to power these 4 buildings. And so what I told you earlier, that each metallurgist is 2 farms, we need 3 metallurgists. So we're going to see that right now, not all of them have corn. It's a little slow. But once the 3rd one is running for a minute and trades are done, then you're going to see that they're full with corn. And that proves that point. That it will be just enough to feed them. So he didn't make his first collection of gold yet, but once he does, just a few of them, we're going to see that they all have corn and that they're running smoothly. It's not there yet, but almost built up. But I'm going to be building 2 more for the sake to fill the town hall up with gold, even though it isn't that much. Now, I didn't go for the tannery and the armor workshops as early as what I could have, in order to process more skins into leather armor that I could have. But it was very difficult for me to do all of this, and that will be part of the building challenge, that if nothing else, you will just try to replicate this build or something very similar to it. And my 5th gold mine is down here. Remember, my other 2 are here. And I built this woodcutter's like way up here, so he's going to plant some trees on the path for later. That's why I could have just built it right on the road down here, and he could have cut all of the trees that were already here. So that's something to keep in mind, that you don't have to build it all the way up there, but that's the advantage. I'm going to build a second marketplace here to do some additional trades, because I need to have this marketplace trade for corn, gold for corn, as much as possible. I think maybe around 43, 44 minutes, somewhere around there, I cut it off because corn starts to build up in the marketplace. And then I can put that towards the town hall. I was going to build a weapons workshop, but I went back and reloaded the save and said it just wasn't worth it, because I needed some horses, and I will trade some trunks for horses at the end. If you don't notice it at that time, you know, I'm just telling you now that I will, because I have two markets to pay attention to. But you see, at this point, it's just so much corn. All these buildings that require corn, and a lot of it. Metallurgist for corn is the way to go. So in other maps, if there's no room for, and a normal map that even if you have normal productivity with farms, there's no script ruining the productivity. If you have a lot of gold mountains and coal available, this is the way to go. Just build up early metallurgist, and you're good to go. Just trade it for corn. Have a market just for that. If you're only going to be using one market for that, that's all you need. But if you need a market for other things, then that's fine. But if you have like access to iron ore, you're not going to need to trade skins and all that. But you can just use this to create a huge leather armor army. With this map, with this strategy, I can get, realistically speaking, I mean realistically, I can get 50 skins and therefore 50 pigs within the first 50 minutes. I'm talking about I can get 50 skins with a stables running that's going to produce 16 horses. That's the additional point I need to mention. So that's 100 leather armor troops. If you train like lance carriers, you can get 100 lance carriers, for example, within 50 minutes. Or 50 bowmen, 50 lance carriers. Something like that. With all the wood you have available to you, I'm pretty sure it's possible. Yeah, I mean, you'll need some gold to train for the town hall and all, but I think it should be possible to get that army in 50 minutes on this map. And because you don't need a stables for those, and that required a lot of corn. So the additional gold that you would need for recruits, that's taken into account with the amount of corn that you have to feed the stable, which it means the amount of gold you have to feed the stable, right? It's a one-to-one correspondence. But at this point, you see I have the... I actually went back by accident, but I guess it's a good thing to take a look at the markets, what's going on. But what I was going to say is that at this time I had the fifth metallurgist built, and of course, for a metallurgist runs every 41 seconds and a coal mine every 45 seconds about. So let's say 45 divided by 41 just to make it worst case scenario, because it's 41 and change. But if we assume it's 41, then we're being a little bit pessimistic. But that means that each metallurgist needs 1.09 coal mines. So if I have 5 metallurgists, I'm going to need 5.48 coal mines to power 5 metallurgists in the long run. Maybe if I have some coal built up or stored in the storehouse ahead of time, it might be okay for such a brief peacetime. But of course, so all I'm saying is that this coal isn't sufficient to power 5 metallurgists. 4, yes, but not really 5, but just for a brief time, yes. And this coal runs out early, and I do build a little bit on the coal, as you might have noticed earlier. Not a whole bunch. But, okay, so at this point, I'm still trading the last bit of corn, but I'm going to stop, like I mentioned, and start trading other things. But here in the other one, I'm going to be trading some skins that my tannery could not process in time, and I had to go back, reload saves to figure out when that was. I'm going to block this tannery from receiving skins soon, so that I can trade those skins that aren't going to be processed anyway in the 50-minute peacetime. But in the meantime, I'm going to be trading leather armor as they come, also for iron weapons, armor, and shields. Very little trading for horses until the end, like I mentioned, with trunks, because I do have a stables that's going to produce, I think, 12 to 13 horses on its own. I need a total of 15. So I think it is 13, or maybe even 14 horses it's going to produce on its own. I'll have 14 by it. But now I'm trading, as you can see, these. And I'm going to send up those troops. I think I'm going to feed Well, I don't actually, I keep all the gold in the town hall, excuse me, in this one, because I'm not actually going to play this one through. I didn't play this through. This is the end. As you can see, it's just 50 minutes long. But I'll slow this down now that we're on the last minute. So we have 72 there, and there we go. Trunks for horses. Nothing really spectacular. I didn't really have enough time to build a weapons workshop or additional sawmill. It was just too much going on. I have 46 serfs, and just to prove it to you, right now I'm gonna have the 15 before 49.49, but right at 50 minutes even, I have 86 gold in the town hall. So that will be the building challenge for this, to have 86 or more gold in the town hall and also have 15 or more knights worth of resources in the barracks. I'm perfectly okay with you looking at my replays and just trying to build more efficiently than what I did to try to match that or get more. I'd be really interested to see if someone can beat this, because I tried several different ways to do it myself, and for one reason or another, I couldn't get past 15. Maybe I know if I eventually try long enough, I could get more, but just keep in mind that for each additional 3 knights that you have, you need 8 additional skins. And when I said skins, I mean pigs and skins, right? And so on. And that's assuming, of course, that you process the skins into leather armor to trade from that point and not the skins themselves. So you have to build the tannery and the armory workshops early enough that that can happen. And I'll just show it now, like some point with the swine farms, with the latest remake version, the beta versions, you can take advantage of taking the villager out of the swine farm. Because, you see, right now, I put another one in immediately. Saw that? So now another one's in there while he's going to eat. But then, of course, with R6720, you can shut down the building. And, of course, with the original game, too, you can. So this one, I shut it down because there's no pigs in there. It's only 5 minutes left. He could potentially get 1 pig with it, but I see that this one has 5 pigs. And I have 26 corn left, but I have 5 minutes to go. And I want to have as many horses as possible, so I just choose to shut that one down. And I'm going to shut this bottom one down too, as soon as he's done, because he happened by chance to make them into pigs really fast, as you can see. So I'm going to shut him down too once he's done, so that it's just these two. Maybe him, I shut them all down, because he didn't have any pigs left either. It was just no reason to continue. But I had that much corn left for horses. It looks like every 7 minutes. In the previous video I said every 4 minutes. It's about every 7 minutes, at least for player 11, that he comes and attacks you. Now I'm going to finish the second half of the replay of my speed run for this one, that I beat it in 1 hour and 36 minutes and some change. So we're going to see how I did that now that I have knights. I'm a little bit more free to do things, but anyway. First of all, notice that I didn't let my 2 rebels die this time. I have 1 rebel in here, so that when these purple caravan troops come, I make him come in contact with them to draw out the first big chunk of troops from here. So that's 1 less sacrifice of a vagabond, which was 3 more gold than this rebel. So that now you can see all of them, this first big chunk, are going to be coming to this rebel here. And I'll remove the terrain wires now so we can see things. But them two from player 5, they're going up there. That triggered all of those troops, and some from player 10. I have so many knight that I'm going to come in deep with him into here and make a sacrifice early, but it's going to matter because I went in deep and I got out several troops. I'm going to sacrifice 1 more, but then I'm going to keep the other 10. I'm going to be very stingy and keep them. So at this point, I'm having all of them come up to that vagabond that I do the link before dead with these knights, and later the vagabonds to sacrifice, because I'm going to have some vagabonds. I have vagabonds here too, right? So with this build, I only have 12 knights. The other one that I just showed you can have 15. It doesn't make that much of a difference with win time. I really doubt it. Based on how I was able to come in here with player 11 and 10, it's not going to be too much. Maybe a few minutes. At least a few minutes. but all the action is here. I'm going to, which I didn't yet, I put a sawmill building fence here. It should have been a farm like last time. I'm going to be training some bowmen, so really nothing interesting going there. Only going to have barbarians here as a slaughter channel, so to speak, and one here. That's it. That's all that's going to happen in the background. So when you see them going left, you know they're going that way. If they're going up, they're going that way. I hit there, of course, to get out player 11 so that he doesn't come attack me because he was built up at the time. But I'm going to keep hitting him one after the other because I want to get out all these groups he has so that it really delays him from attacking me for a while. And immediately, you see, I go in here and kill the troops. Now, unlike last time that I went and destroyed the storehouse, I'm just going to kill all the serfs for player 9. But again, go for player 8's barracks almost immediately and block it from being built. And this time you can see that I have the towers already, both of them destroyed this time, and both of them blocked from getting rebuilt. So a lot more good things going on. I penetrated this faster. I think it was by an hour and 5 minutes that I was in a similar position that I am now. So that alone in itself helped me penetrate this faster, but also in addition, in the previous win, I was delayed about 20 minutes or so when I wanted to train 4 knights to be able to penetrate this, but now I have all the knights I need, so that time is not needed at all. And I can have an immediate bowman because I don't have to train for those knights to also help out in the fight. So pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive with getting troops out of here soon enough, but we'll see. Yeah, so right now, I'll check player 9 to see how many serfs he has. He has none left, therefore that was the end of me getting him, but now I'm not there yet, but I'm soon going to draw out a whole bunch of troops from here. Because what I want to do is when I want to penetrate, which I'm almost ready to, penetrate player 10 and 11, almost already, right? It's amazing. Zoom out and see what I'm doing. Yeah, okay, so a huge chunk from there just to empty them out. I do this, I don't know if you noticed, but here I can rewind it so you can see. This is something I did in the last video because the defense radius of these pikemen spans that far to get out this group of pikemen from player 10. Because I found that if I lure out all these troops, this backup pikeman is going to go over here, and I didn't want that. So I made the extra effort to have him come get killed here to draw them out too. So even though there's going to be a pikeman group here, form immediately because it has the priority number of 1 for player 10, it's still not going to be a full group that I can sneak my knights in. At least get in. I think I'll have to draw them out beforehand. That was the plan, but they still come, and this is where I get player 5. I'm sorry I'm going fast with this. I don't want to waste too much of your time, but I do come here with player 5, and you can see this all in replay for yourself, but I'm going to come here with player 5. Okay, there he is. He's down here. I'm going to come here and just let him die there, and it's going to get a huge chunk out. And so what I was saying is I can get in here easier if additional pikeman group is out of here. But I'll just keep focused on this from now on just to show you how to penetrate it. It's very simple. I don't know if you noticed, but the towers are empty. I emptied the tower, so that alone makes this more realistic to penetrate because I killed the crossbowmen that were here by doing some dancing, as you saw. And now I emptied the towers. So half the crossbowmen in the front are gone. The towers are empty, and I have knights now, not scouts. So all those 3 make this much more realistic. Very few save reloads actually to do this. To actually squeeze, I think, 8 knights out of this that survive and go through here without any effort. I mean, look at it. It's right. It's empty, pretty much. There's no stones in the towers or anything. And this time I have enough resources to choke player 10 first. Get rid of him, and then go choke player 11. So nothing really new to see here from the previous video, that much. Here's me choking player 11 again. and it goes much faster. Everything is smoother. I'm going to use the rogues here to draw out these troops to leave me alone. And I lost some bowmen earlier here, so I'm a little short this time to shoot at these buildings here. I'm going to have to do a little bit of teasing player 7 to leave me alone. But I'm using my bowmen at the moment to kill the serfs from player 8 while I kill all the crossbowmen and try to destroy as much of these buildings as possible before player 5 builds up. But part of them are here, part of them are here, they're still alive, they're gonna die, but it's still enough for me to win without any problems. I cannot use these barbarians like I did last time to help me out destroy buildings, but I don't need them, it's okay. Can it be one faster? Yes, at least a few minutes faster now that I know that 15 knights are available, not just 12 like in this win. But a whole lot more than that, I'm not sure. I first hit the schoolhouse with a vagabond, that's why they're all going that way. But now I'm going to do a little bit of battle with them and then let them have the bowmen. Just have the bowmen fire at whatever comes here to distract them so that my knights can go help destroy the buildings. And that's it. It's over. So if someone wanted to see exact time that I won this, I won it exactly 34.5 minutes faster than last time. Anyway, I really hope that someone who likes to build in this game will try out the building challenge and see what you can get. See if the gold for corn idea would be ideal, or maybe you can somehow, I don't think stone alone for corn will be enough. So anyway, I hope you liked the video and have a nice day.